Welcome into Madazone HD Sportsnet, presented by the JMU Alumni Association. It's the weekly coaches show with head coach Dave Rinker of the JMU cross country team. Coach, thanks for joining us as we get ready for your home meet of the season following your alumni meet, the JMU Invitational this weekend. Just talk about preparation as you get ready to face some pretty decent teams this weekend.
Well, it's our first real meet, in my opinion, of the season. The UVA duels was a low-key thing. Our alumni meet was a fun thing for us. Now you've got Georgetown is bringing in their women. They're one of probably the top 10 teams in the country. You've also got good programs coming in out of George Mason, VMI, and Longwood are both solid. So it's a great opportunity for our women to finally kind of take the blinders off a little bit, let them race. We're going to keep it under control, but we're going to actually go out and see what we've got this weekend. We're in a cycle in which we work 3 really hard weeks. This week we're going to back off a little bit, then go back into a hard 2-week cycle. So they're still going to be a little tired going into this week, but it's a great opportunity for us to, like I said, kind of loosen the reins a little bit and let them run.
What does it do for your team to have a program like Georgetown come in, a team that's pretty good and kind of shows them what they'll be up against when they go to some of these big meets later in the year?
Well, it builds a whole different brand of excitement into it. When you're running in somebody that good, automatically it'll give us several things. One, it gets them excited, but B, it also gives me a chance to see how they react to lining up against someone wearing a uniform like Georgetown, because we're going to be going to pre-nationals down the road, and when we go to pre-nationals, they're going to be lining up against some of the best teams in the country for that. You got their years at Stanford is there, Oregon is there, on down the line, Texas, et cetera, et cetera. Paul Short is going to be a big meet with a lot of the really good teams, whether it be Villanova, Georgetown, so on and so forth. So, when this is a way of kind of just, boom, hitting them between the eyes a little bit. They can get over that excitement, kind of realize what has got to be done, that they're just running against people, and it's a matter of how they react and how they compete.
New Market Battlefield is where we'll be this Saturday. Didn't have a home meet last year, just had the alumni meet last year. So how nice is it to get this kind of meet in at home, back at a familiar territory at New Market Battlefield?
Well, Newmarket is a great course. I mean, it's a very tough course. It's a little long for the 5K. The 6K that we run championship when we host conferences, exactly 6K. This 5K is a little long, but at the same time, it provides us the opportunity to go out and race in an environment with more family members, a little bit low-key, but like I said, still with some good teams. So it's good for the athletes. I mean, putting the meet off is a huge endeavor on our part, but it's worth it for the athletes.
Having it back home as opposed to not having it last year, how do you feel getting your team not having to travel as much in the early part of the year will help them for later on?
Well, we don't travel that much throughout the year. My top runners are only going to run a maximum of 7 races this year. So, and that counts the 2 low-key meets we've already had. So, really, they're going to line up and go full bore about 4 or 5 times in the year. So, I don't really worry about the travel that much. We don't over-travel in cross-country, and that's the nice thing about it is that. So having the home meet, it's an easier trip for them to go to, but they still have to go through all the other steps of it. And I think sometimes traveling is actually a benefit because they're a little bit more excited when they travel. We get them away from the dorms, so it's a little quieter in a hotel the night before than, being in the dorm and then having to race the next day. So I don't look at that as being an advantage or a disadvantage for us. It's just nice to have a home meet where they feel that they are in JMU territory.
Well, you can catch the JMU cross-country team at the Invitational up at New Market Battlefield this Saturday at the New Market Battlefield. For Coach Dave Rinker, I'm Chris Brooks. Thanks for joining us here on the JMU Cross Country Coaches Show. You can catch it every Tuesday right here on Madazone HD Sportsnet, presented by the JMU Alumni Association.